Welcome back to the American Legends Watch channel. Today a quick how-to video, how to change a watch strap, and it's really going to depend on what style of watch you have. So I'll just put some chapters in here, but starting with a watch where you have a strap that goes through these spring bars that you can see. Sometimes they're fixed and they're not really spring bars, but most of the time if you can see the bars like this, then easy enough, you can just change a strap by pulling it out through those bars. They'll just slide through the bars. This is a Nato style leather strap, two-piece strap there, very secure on this great hand heart. Similar here on the way I've got my Speedmaster set up with the single pass Perlon strap. You see the spring bars and you can just pass the band here underneath those bars. Sometimes they'll be pretty tight and you'll need to make sure you have a thin enough strap for this, but you can then slide the strap along to adjust it, but easy enough when you can see the spring bars, you're in good shape. Now if you can't see the spring bars, then things are going to get a little bit more interesting. Some newer watches like this little Timex here, you flip them over, you will see close to the case back where the strap, in this case a bracelet, comes into the case. There's two little kind of squeezable knobs that stick out. Get that in focus there, and that makes it so that you can grab those with your thumb and your forefinger, give them a little squeeze, and then the bracelet will come right out, because what you're doing is you're retracting the spring bar from both sides by squeezing it in from either side with those little knobs. So if you have those, easy enough. You can take your bracelet out. You could put in another bracelet with a similar style, provided it's the same size. Or you can take it off to clean it. You can take it off to replace the battery, whatever you need to do. Thank you, Timex, for putting in these double push bars. Okay, so if you don't have the double little knobs that you can press, you might have, especially on a newer watch, a single little knob that you can press. So if you have the single little knob, easy enough. You just push in on that single knob, and then you'll have to kind of peel the strap away from that end, because again what you're doing is you're just retracting the end of that one end of that spring bar, but you still have the need when you put it back in to kind of line up those holes, get the first end started back in there, and it kind of pops in, and then with a single press you can get these straps out. Now this watch also has drilled lug holes. Some sportier watches do, some don't. So if you have those drilled lug holes, even if you don't have a retractable little barrel in there, you can get in with a little tool, or if you don't have a little tool like that, you could use the end of a safety pin or any other kind of small little pin you have to get in that little hole, and then again you can just press in on the end of the spring bar and it will come out like that. Okay, now here's a vintage Rolex. Here's my 1601, which has drilled lug holes. Some Rolex sports models do. Not quite as common as they used to be, but kudos to some new watches like that Notice for giving drilled lug holes. So in this case I do have it on a leather strap, a nice leather strap, which does have the retractable single press little knob there, so I can get these in and out, but also drilled lug holes, so similar style. All right, a little bit more unusual. I have this Versace watch in right now, helping a friend out because their dog ate the leather straps on here, and this is different because it doesn't use spring bars. It uses a fixed bar that presses in and out. So if you have something like this, you're going to need a little bit more to get this out. You're going to need one of these jeweler's hammers, and again one of these little tools that has a kind of a flat end on it. And the way that this watch is made, make sure I do this from the right direction. You just have to give it a little tap to get that little bar to then come out. And this watch works kind of like a bracelet with pin and collar, where that pin is a little bit tapered on that one end, it's a little bit bigger on the other, and once you get the new strap in there, then you just tap it back in from the other side to keep that fixed bar in position. But I'm ordering a new leather strap from my friends at Veblenist to bring this little fashiony Versace watch back to life. Okay, so if you don't have anything like that, what you might have is very commonly like this Tissot, no drilled lug holes, no retractable little barrels on the spring bars themselves, which means you're going to have to get in there with a tool to actually remove the spring bar yourself. So I'm going to make a little room here and kind of go to another stage of this video. Okay, so if you have a watch like this with no drilled lug holes, no retractable barrel ends, what you're going to have to do is get one of these tools that has these little forked ends on them. You see the end of the little tool there, it's got a little kind of fork indentation, and then an even smaller one on the other side, which I like to use. You'll sometimes get with a new watch, and they'll come with their own little spring bar tool with, again, a little forked end and then a little flat end to get in to like a little drilled lug hole, things like that. Okay, so I'm going to use this, and what's going to happen is we're just going to get in to the little gap between the case and the spring bar itself, and we're trying to just gently grab the shoulder of the spring bar. Just kind of trying to get it to retract enough that we can just kind of pull it out from that end. Okay, so let's do it on the other side. Do it one more time. We're just going to get in that little space between the case and the strap. I'm just going to kind of pull it back with my finger, get in there with the spring bar tool, try to grab that shoulder, pull it back, and let it go. Okay, and if I'm going to scratch anything, I'd rather scratch against the spring bar and not the case. All right, so if you do this right, you won't scratch the case itself. Now, if I'm going to change the strap, very important that you recognize that if you're looking from the top of the watch, let me zoom out here. If you're looking from the top of the watch, the shorter end of the strap, the one with the buckle, is the one that goes attached to the top of the watch. And the longer end, the end that has the holes in it, will attach to the bottom of the watch. Even if you're putting in something like a Nato strap, it's the shorter one with the buckle that's pointing up from the top of the watch, and the longer end with the holes from the bottom of the watch. So I would just make sure again that the short end of the strap, the one with the buckle, is the one that goes on the top. And I like to do this kind of face down on a soft cloth. You can use a little tool called a holder to keep the watch in place, but generally this works fine for me. Get that started, and I can use the tool, push that shoulder back, get in there without touching the case, line it up with the hole. Almost got it. There we go. So that end is now securely. Zoom back in. The other side, again, I'm just going to line up with the hole there. Put it in the existing hole, take the tool, pull the shoulder back, line it up with the other hole, snaps into place, and then we've got our strap reinstalled. Okay, it's a similar process if you have a metal bracelet that you're putting on there instead. For example, this Seiko that I'm wearing, I'd have to get in there with a similar kind of tool. Get that in focus. They don't give you a whole lot of room with these metal bracelets, but you still have a little bit of a a gap right there where you can get the tool in. To that little gap right in there. And then you can pull the spring bar back and you can remove this bracelet, metal bracelet, in a similar kind of way. This one has these little wings that overhang the case that keep these end links from rotating, but they still give you a little room where you can get in there and remove that bracelet by pulling back on the shoulder of the spring bar. I've literally never taken this bracelet off though. I got this is a titanium bracelet. It matches the watch, so haven't had any reason to take that off. But I hope you found this video useful. Please do like and subscribe for more how-tos, more watch reviews, and news and things in the watch world. Until the next time, God bless, and have fun out there.